Happy New Year, Pop Girlies.
Happy 2026.
2026.
Welcome. We'd like to welcome you to
Welcome.
2026.
Welcome to 2026. New year, same three pop girlies.
Could you
Oh,
imagine if there was just a different one?
what if we added a fourth?
Whoa.
I don't want that.
I don't want that either. Too
I
many
only
cooks in the
think I
kitchen.
only think there could be the three of us or six of us, and it would be us three plus
Our divas.
Gargar, Katie, and Taylor.
Mm.
And maybe that day is fast approaching.
Well, actually, it'd be seven, wouldn't it? Because
Oh,
when
because
it
Queen Honey,
Well,
the
obviously.
Queen
Sorry,
Honey has to be invited as well.
Well, of
Madonna,
course.
obviously.
The concept of
Madonna was
making
right as
Madonna
usual.
listen to Audrey Hobart, I actually
Now
think she'd
that.
gag.
She would gag. We'd have to do another Who's the Clown episode.
That's our annual episode. We
Yeah.
do it every year.
We do it every year. We do Who's the Clown and American Life every year.
We do it every year until Maria gives Who's the Clown a 10, thus creating the first perfect score.
Hey,
Whoa.
we still have this year's 4th of July coming up.
Oh, that's true. That's going to be the first one.
Yeah.
We haven't announced what it is yet.
No.
No, but you can get a little Easter egg if you go to the last 4th of July episode. Because we do talk about potentially doing it
Oh,
for...
we do.
Yeah. Easter egg.
So,
Real historians would know.
Pop Girly scavenger hunt.
Scavenger. Girl, I loved scavenger hunt when I was a kid.
Oh, absolutely.
I fucked up an Easter egg hunt.
yeah. Oh, yeah,
Well,
girl.
it's New Year, and we thought, as we do often, how can we gag Pop Girlies Nation? So we are starting off the year with a series, a little three-part series reflecting on one of the pillars of pop music, something that is essential for pop music to function, the flop album. So this week, next week, and the week after that, each of us has picked an album that we deem to be a quote unquote flop that we are bringing to the table to talk about. And I know that I think confidently, like all three of us love the albums that we picked.
Yeah.
100%.
Well, and I
So,
think too, it's important to start at rock bottom.
right, right, right. Because you can only go up from there.
Right. And I mean,
Yeah.
2025 was a rough year.
Girl, you're telling
We had
me.
had it.
I celebrated New Year's Eve on the phone with the fraud people from the bank because somebody opened a credit card in my name. If it
And
was
that
any
was just like a
of you
normal day in your
hoes,
life.
it was somebody from Knoxville. If any of you, I'm gonna look at the stats. If any of you are listening from Knoxville,
Oh my
you
god, I
are
have family in Knoxville.
trouble,
Oh wait,
girl.
no, not anymore. JK.
Good, good. Because I would have made you. Do they have connections to Synchrony Bank? Because if they did, they would have
No.
been in deep doo doo.
Oh my
Because girl,
gosh.
that fucked up my workout that day. I had to leave the gym early. And then the guy was trying to tell me my genealogy anyway, so the
Yeah,
whole
that was
Oh my
yeah.
God. Yeah.
That's a yeah.
yeah, that's a
I mean,
whole
that's another episode.
yeah, that's a bonus episode.
Yeah.
The man who insisted I was German. So, Drew, what are we doing today?
So I think, I think everyone who listened to Pop Girlies, Pop Girlies Nation, of course. I think anyone alive in the past 10 years would probably vow that this is the biggest flop album of any flop album of all time. And no, we already did 143.
Whoa.
We're doing the start of the end. We're doing Witness, girl.
The start of the end. Beginning of the end.
Brutal.
Brutal.
I mean,
But here we are.
this is history. Like this really is pop music history.
It is huge history. But
Like
you will get into it. I mean, history because it's a flop, not because it's bad.
And flop does not equal bad.
flop does not
No.
equal bad. Flop does not equal bad at all. No, no, no.
Sometimes it does.
Well,
Oh,
just
yeah,
like
yeah, that's what I mean. It doesn't always equal bad. Flop
but
does
like
not always
I
equal
think there
bad.
are smash albums that are smash hits that I think are bad. Like Morgan
Right.
Wallen, Morgan Poo Poo.
Absolutely.
So commercial success does not always equate quality, as we know. Also, critical reception does not always equate with quality music.
Yeah.
Girl, we got some biases up in here. We do.
And that's
Everyone
why we're
does.
here.
And
Well,
that's why
also
we're the
commercial
only
success.
unbiased people.
Commercial success can be a subjective term as well, as we'll find out by.
I know your argument for this.
Girl, what are you talking about?
I mean, do you want me to get into it?
Well, no, we gotta get our hot track
I,
first.
Okay.
okay, we'll get there.
So, who wants to be the first hot track of 2026?
Whoa.
This is an honor. I think it should be our guest of honor, Drew.
Well, guest.
Or person of honor, whatever. You're
Whoa.
the leader. You're our witness. Bear
You're
witness
owning
to
the
us.
episode, own the hot track.
Yeah.
Okay.
This is your episode. Have it.
Okay. So, this last week have been kind of under the weather, and when I am under the weather, I like to listen to something that like puts me in a place of disgrace, and
Oh.
like I like to like punish myself for it on a way. Like I like to like really feel it. So I've of course been listening to Tortured Poets, because
Tortured
I mean-
audits.
what else do you listen to?
Nothing. I haven't listened to anything else ever.
And I love the album so much. I just think it's like so fucking good.
Also, another great Pop Girlies episode, if you haven't listened.
Yes,
Yeah.
amazing.
That's an amazing episode. I think
Yeah.
it was the first time I was really in psychosis on Pop Girlies.
Yeah,
That was Levi complete psychosis.
he talked
Yeah,
about
it-
sniping multiple times.
Oh, it was just like two comments.
Yeah.
Two little
Scavenger hunt
offhand remarks.
listeners, go find it.
I also would probably say that it of any album has the most hot tracks.
Yeah.
We've done a lot of Torture
We've
Poets,
done
hot
a lot
tracks.
of Torture Poets hot tracks.
But we haven't done this one yet. I checked. But Daddy, I love him.
Okay, yeah. So there we go. That's so the thing about Daddy, I love him. It's the cross between the Taj Mahal and the Mona Lisa. Like it
But like better.
but better. Yeah.
It and I
It's
think
like
with
what
Daddy, I love
Moses
him.
saw when he saw the burning bush. It is everything.
It's like it. I mean, I will never forget texting Levi when we listened to it at the same time, being like, "I'm like, what is she talking about?" And I think Levi was like a minute and a half into further.
I
into
think
the
I was.
song than
Yes, I was.
And you're like, no, she hates Swifties, and I was like, whoa, what? And then I
Is
got
this
there.
fucking play about us?
Yeah. I mean,
And she
it's
was
legendary.
right. She
Speak
was
Now production,
Oh,
Speak Now vocals, but talking about, I mean, to be the most famous person on a tour that everyone wanted to go to, shit talking the people who were going to said tour.
and then performing it on said tour as well.
Like,
To which I
get out of
was-
here.
I was
Get
cheering.
out of here.
I was cheering hardcore. But Daddy I
So-
Love It was one of the highlights for me of
Yeah.
seeing it in London.
So, as someone who is not like actively in the department, can you explain how this song is like a Swiftie shade?
So it's basically about, because, obviously when she dated Mr. Healy, she got a lot of backlash, specifically from like the like older mom population of people,
Right.
because
Oh,
of
girl,
his comments.
from everyone.
Well, I mean, from everyone.
From
Yeah,
internet wokies.
yeah,
Hardcore. Internet wokies.
yeah.
Go
But
on.
there's a lyric in the song where she says all the wine moms are still holding
Yeah.
out, but fuck them, it's over. But basically, she's like in the song, she's basically like calling out the fact and like basically saying that you guys are kind of assholes for not giving me agency to do my own thing in the relationships that I have.
Right.
She uses this
it's just-
metaphor of like a forbidden love affair
Yeah,
that like the town doesn't approve of. And then it's like pretty obvious, I think, in the verses and the chorus.
yeah,
But when you get to the bridge, it gets incredibly explicit because she goes, I'll tell you something right now. I'd rather burn my whole life down than listen to one more second of all this bitching and moaning. I'll tell you
Right.
something about my good name. It's mine alone to disgrace. I don't cater to all these vipers dressed in empaths' clothing. There was also like a subset. I talked a little bit about this on the episode
yeah.
of people who like genuinely started a petition to get her into a conservatorship because they thought that she had like was gone mentally because she was dating Maddie Healy.
You are
It was
under
called
spells,
it was called
people.
hashtag Speak Up Now.
Oh, I remember that actually. Now that you say that, I remember that.
Hashtag
But I
Speak Up
mean,
Now.
and
Girl.
she could have written like any song about this scenario, and it would have been perfect. But this kind of song, this like Speak Now throwback
It's
song,
amazing. Yeah.
huge chorus, incredible bridge. I mean, it's like the best music gets.
It literally, because it's like you like it like is referencing Fearless because it's like kind of love story plot wise, but it has that like soaring quality that Speak Now has and that epic quality that those songs have. But then like the kind of like lyrical perspective of Tortured Poets, it's just like
It's so good. And I mean, it's like,
the
yeah,
outro is so good.
yeah. It's
That
I want to listen to it right now.
I do too. Like, can we stop this?
Yeah. But
And I think
I've really decided like because I loved it when it came out, Tortured Poets, but I the longer I sit with it, the more it's like I don't know if it's gone up so much in ranking for me. I don't know. I don't because it's not in my top 3 Taylor albums in the way that it is for Levi. Um
Firmly
yeah.
for me.
But I mean it's super close. Like I don't know what it has to do to get up. I think I don't know. It's really hard, but it's so perfect. But I just love listening to it so much, especially like when you're trying to feel something, like when you're sick. It's so good.
Girl, you
Yeah.
even giving LOML praise, which
I
you
mean,
never
yeah. I
do.
mean, those lyrics are so good.
Yeah, I mean, it's a Fritz Bernays, the Fritz Bernays
Yeah.
department.
It's just so good. And it doesn't ever dip for me.
No, 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 no,
So,
no. Um, what the fuck was that?
I know we're starting the
the
year off
second
so crazy.
the second anyone utters TTPD, it's like
Foams.
immediate psychosis foam at the
Rabid
mouth.
foam.
It's the same reaction that Maria has when Michael is mentioned.
Oh my God,
Michael,
stop.
oh, Michael
Like
Polensky.
Michael, when we have the
I couldn't even be silly for one night.
you're the chairman of the tortured Michael Polanski department.
Oh my God. People.
Are we under spells?
We're
We
not
are
under
under
spell.
spells. You're under spells. I had a silly night once.
Oh my God, you are right though. Something about tortured poets really brings out the mental patient in me,
Yeah.
which is fitting because it kind of is set in a
It's
mental
about
hospital.
yeah.
I mean, and maybe that's part of it too. You know, it's touching on a part of my history. Go to the Dance Fever episode if you
Yeah,
want to learn
Dance
more.
Fever.
But because girl, they didn't forget to come and get me when I was supposed to be sent away. They came and I was taken. So,
With
Maria,
Eva,
that.
I think you should go
oh, am I
next.
going next? Okay. Well, I'm doing Taylor too. Pretty much
Right.
this past week. Well, we didn't do a hot track last week or the week before.
So the
Because
last hot track of 2025 was Skinny Dipping Acoustic.
of course. Well, of course. Of course.
Well,
And
yes.
yeah, so I have been listening to like pretty exclusively Audrey Hobart and Taylor and a bit of the Queen Honey as well. I decided I'm not. If you would have asked me last week, if we would have done hot tracks last week, it would have been Silver Jubilee by Audrey Hobart, which
Because
was
it's
my
drinks up now.
it was my New Year's because it's drinks up now. Got to put your drinks up. It was my New Year's anthem. That is the energy I want to have this year. And like I went to a dance party called Queen that is just like electronic music and I was like singing that on loop over the beats for probably 30 minutes. Um sorry to my friend Luke who doesn't listen to the show, so I don't need to apologize to him. But I had a showgirl weekend. I had a My weekend was a showgirl weekend. And so I'm going with, since I didn't pick it for my favorite song of the year, want it to be my first hot track. And I will be doing The Supermodel to End All Supermodels, Ruin the Friendship, which is a very special song to me. I think it kind of actually, I love that we're doing them together, Drew, because I think it is like the equivalent of But Daddy, I Love Him on
Yeah.
Showgirl because it's like it's like the song on the album that taps into the like classic Taylor sound and style of writing that like she occasionally dips back into. Like it's the kind of song that you're like, oh, like I'm back in Fearless era. I'm back in Speak Now era. Like,
Yeah.
which I mean, I'm biased, but that's like when like my hand heart is up so high at those moments. And Ruin the Friendship, I think, is just a masterclass in storytelling and her vocals on it. I mean, just everything about it. I've waxed poetic about it multiple times before, but yeah, it's just a very special song to me. And I get you do not need to like Showgirl. If you don't like it, it's fine. But for people to say it has zero songs that are good on it, when Ruin the Godship and the Fate of Smashphilia exist, that just like doesn't compute in my brain.
The fate of SOTY Philia.
And when Maria said, "Who's the AOTY?"
Who's the clown? Who's AOTY?
Yeah, so that's mine. Ruin the Friendship.
Love.
Marita, it's your
Yeah.
turn.
Okay, so mine is going to be a new song that I discovered. And if you can believe, I was having the Queen Honey Drew over the other night, and I was just like finishing up dinner, and I was like, I just want to put like something just like vibey on the TV, like just put like a cool video on YouTube. And every now and then those videos get recommended to me where it's like some guy in their kitchen who has like a DJ table set up.
What?
And it's like, well, just kind of like house beats, like
It was
whatever, just like
literally so
vibes.
crazy. It was, I walk in and it's just a guy on the TV in his kitchen, just like spitting some tracks.
What the
And I'm like,
fuck?
Maria, okay.
Yeah, just like a loungy kind of like jazzy vibe. But I found this guy, and I can't quite remember his like full channel name, but I think I remember his name was Tanner or something. But his like setup of what he does is basically like 30-minute DJ like vinyl sets, but it's like all
Ooh.
deep cuts of like popular artists. And I thought it was so neat. And the one that I pulled up was like 30 minutes of like Sade deep cuts. And the one song that stuck out to me that I hadn't heard before was off of her first album called Diamond Life, and the song is called Why Can't We Live Together? And it's this like 5.5 minute long, like super chill, jazzy song. Like I don't think there's any percussion in the song until like the 2 minute mark. Like it's just like such a lush, like grower of a song, and I thought it was amazing. So highly recommend giving that a listen. But that's gonna be my hot track.
Slay.
Slay.
Okay, Drew.
Bro,
Well,
All right.
are we ready
Do we
to
need a
witness?
witness?
Yeah.
it's
Okay.
time.
It's your moment, girl.
It's my moment, have it. Okay, Witness by Katy Perry. So it is the fourth studio album by Miss Perry. It came out June 9th of 2017. So Witness comes off of the spectacular three-album run. One of the Boys, Teenage Dream, Prism. Huge three-album run, which ended in the Super Bowl. So crazy how it can go from that to this.
Drew having to have like a 5 second, like silent, reverent moment after the Super Bowl was mentioned.
Pause
Yeah.
for dramatic effect.
Literally, prayers
I thought I had a
now.
cough.
Put your
So
prayer hands
anyway,
up. It's prayer time now.
maybe that's why I've been sick. Like maybe like
The stress of having to talk about Witness.
yeah.
The stress of having to talk about scripture in this way.
Yeah. Okay, anyway. Okay, so Witness. So I would classify it as electropop, dance pop. Definitely going away from like the pop rock that definitely had essences in the first three Katy Perry albums. This marks her first departure from Dr. Luke. So Dr. Luke is not on this album. She worked with a lot of different producers, primarily though with Max Martin, Shellback, and then she also worked with Payami. Corin Roddick, Ilya Michael Made It, Duke Dumont, and Jeff Basker. So, yeah, there were a lot of cooks in the kitchen for this one. But, yeah, it marked like a huge shift in sonic production for her, Katy. It definitely, I wouldn't say, it classifies as dance pop. I don't know if I'd classify it as dance pop that we're seeing now, but I think it just, electronic is something like, it was a lot of the time, like Zed was really popular, like the Chainsmokers. It kind of had like that kind of vibe for me. Like, honestly, it kind of had like a trap vibe as well, which I thought. Do you guys agree with that? No.
I don't think it's like consistent throughout the entire album, but I wouldn't say that that's wrong. Like I think there's like
Okay.
a dusting of that
I
throughout.
couldn't figure out what to classify it as because
I
I didn't see it as dance pop, but that's what everything was saying.
I also think that like it was very clearly a late 2010s pop album, which was the second half of that decade was dominated by hip hop, specifically trap. Like this was when trap
Yeah.
was everywhere in the charts. I mean, the Migos is on this album.
Right.
So I think that
Me
like
both.
I wouldn't necessarily say that like there's like outright trap, but I think it's like in that context because it was existed to, you know, be released to the world during this time of like the
Right.
dominance of that genre.
Yeah. That's perfect. That's true.
Am I totally right?
And you're right about that.
And I'm right about that.
So anyway, so the themes of Witness are classified as purposeful pop.
Oh God.
Um, so I was reading a lot about the
I just
inspiration.
did this like top hat thing. That was so
Tip my fedora. That's so like tip my fedora. This is purposeful pop.
So
That's crazy.
so crazy.
I was kind of reading into what Miss Perry was cooking up. So a lot of it actually was inspired by her just being so emotionally exhausted. Obviously, she went through a divorce with Russell Brand before writing Prism, and then was also going through a lot of different relationship drama at this time, and a lot of like identity kind of crises, I guess, which I'll get into later. But it also comes from the 2016 election. Like she was very vocally for Hillary, and that she did a lot of like campaigning for her, and so yeah, it kind of stems off of that as well. However, the idea of Katy Perry doing purposeful pop, I think, is hard because of how campy she is. I think it's hard to be Katy Perry and say that you're making something that's a purposeful pop album. I just don't think that those are two things that I don't think really exist unless you do a full identity shift. So I think that is where a lot of backlash comes from her saying that she's making a purposeful pop album because while it I definitely think it has more depth than the albums that come before it. Purpose kind of forced depth because she's talking about things that she doesn't really talk about, like social issues and things like that in the songs. She still is kind of keeping the campy, comedic, kind of winking thing that she does in all of her songs, which I don't think those two clash together very well, especially because a lot of the visuals, a lot of the videos, and even two of the singles that I think are outliers in the album, are, not purposeful pop at all. So, yeah. So, kind of going off of that, the singles for the album are the first single was Chained to the Rhythm, which I think was kind of the beginning of, I think Chained to the Rhythm, I would classify it as, leaning into purposeful pop. I think she's talking about like, I think a lot of it, honestly, she was talking about like technology and like that sort of thing. She talks a lot about that in her music even now. And like the, the idea of like, surrendering, like society surrendering itself to like groupthink and technology, I think is what Chained to the Rhythm is to me. but I mean, it could be anything really. Um, but it was not your typical Katy Perry song at all. And it debuted at number 4 on the Hot 200 or Hot 100, which I think was kind of the beginning of kind of us going, oh, this isn't going to be like the runaway kind of hit that the other 3 albums were. And then the singles that came after were Bon Appetit, Swish Swish, which are not purposeful pop at all. They're just kind of, the classic Katy Perry fun pop tracks, which I think both of those songs I would say are huge outliers on the album. And they did not do very well also. So I think this was kind of where the album really faltered for her. Because, she really changed the rhythm. She does all of this press kind of talking about how this album was going to be more purposeful, had more thematic. And then we get Bon Appetit. And she chops her hair off. Which she says now, I was watching her Vogue, kind of going through the lookbook kind of thing that she did recently. And she said she was super inspired by like Annie Lennox and trying to do something like that, and like David Bowie. Which again, is really cool, but it doesn't go with the music that she's promoting at the time. So that's another huge part of this era. She debuts the pixie cut, the blonde pixie cut, in all of the album visuals. And it's revealed actually in the Bon Appetit music video. So that she chops her hair off. Like, it's a pretty divisive music video. It's kind of, at times it can get a little like eerie and kind of gross, but I really love the music video. But anyway, so that's kind of where this becomes a flop, really. So to promote the album, she also did this 4-day live stream called Witness Worldwide, which got a lot of press. She did a 4-day live stream from a house, and she had like a bunch of really famous guests come in, things like that. She did some live performances as well, but it was supposed to be seen as more of an emotional moment for her. She was supposed to showcase a lot of hardships that she was dealing with. She had like therapeutic sessions on there. She was super vulnerable on the live stream, and I feel like it got a lot of pushback. I think a lot of people, it was kind of revealed through this that I think a lot of people weren't really interested in her emotional hardships. I think that's also where a lot of the backlash comes from this. I think Katy Perry was known for having those, easy to listen to radio hits. And I don't think that being a thematic, purposeful pop artist was something that people cared about from her, which is really sad, loving her. So that happened. And I feel like it even got a lot more negative press from this. And then the album came out. And it did really bad critically. So it sits at a 53 on Metacritic. Pitchfork gave it a 4.8. And yeah, a lot of people just didn't think that. I mean, it definitely had it coming with the promotional singles. I think a lot of people just didn't really think that she did a good job at doing purposeful pop. So yeah. A lot of the lyrics got a lot of negative feedback. That's what I mostly read from in articles. I mean, no one really liked it, which sucks. But so yeah. And then what I was saying earlier, how not all flops, there are commercial flops, but then what do you classify as a commercial flop? Because Witness did actually debut at number 1 on the Billboard Hot 100. It sold 180,000 copies the first week, which is really great. I mean, that is a really great thing. I mean, that's even hard nowadays to do. It is Katy Perry though after playing the Super Bowl, which I think is something you have to take into account when you're talking about flops. It also went from 1 to 13 the next week. Love You Tay Voodoo. Um, and yeah, that. So I think, yes, this is the flop. This was the beginning of the end. Obviously, she has not had a number one on the number one album or song on the Billboard Hot 100 since. Um, and I mean, yeah, I mean, Smile was the album after, and then 143 after that. I mean, we haven't talked about Smile, but Smile was definitely her, not coming back with a fully formed concept for an album. I think there are moments where Smile does really well, but yeah, I mean, this is kind of um, Witness. Weren't weren't. But
We
the
witnessed
last thing I'll
it.
say, I did go to the tour. She did tour this album. She did a huge arena tour, and it was actually the third highest grossing female tour of that year. It was only behind Taylor and Britney Spears. So that, I mean, she is a commercial artist at the end of the day, but compared to the three smashes that came before and what comes after, you can tell that this was, what made her fall. This is the album, and I mean, so many people. I mean, the identity of her chopping her hair off, the live stream. So much of that is what constitutes this the flop. But I'm excited to get into our personal thoughts about this because I know that you know flops are flops, but we choose them to do on Pop Girlies because of redeeming factors. So I'm really excited to get into the thoughts.
I also think that like there's capacity for more nuanced conversation because
Yeah.
we do a lot of albums that like we like love and like were commercial hits and critical hits, and obviously it's really fun to talk about that, but I also think it's it's interesting conversation to talk about things that maybe didn't fully work or maybe weren't fully appreciated. I think it's going
Yeah.
to be a fun opportunity
Yeah.
for group discussion.
Yeah. And we haven't done a Katy album in a really long time.
We didn't do
So
one in all of 2025. I
I
thought about it.
know. So
Whoa.
kind of crazy.
Yeah. She was represented in your hot tracks though.
Well, of
So
course.
she was present with us.
Yeah.
Okay, Drew.
Okay, Maria, why don't you go first? Because I really don't know. I mean, Levi has had to hear me talk about Witness for however since 2018. Since
Oh,
we
when it was fresh then too.
yeah. So he's had 7 years of me he talking his ear off on this. So I really haven't. I just know a few thoughts, so I'm excited.
Ooh, okay. Yes, I will gladly go first. But yeah, this is my first time listening to this album in its entirety. I had only heard a couple songs before, like of course the big singles, and then just like a couple other ones here and there whenever Drew's like, "Oh my gosh, like you have to listen to this, like it's really good," or just like something comes up in conversation, then I'm like, and before like sitting down to do my first full listen to this, like everything that I had heard from this was like extremely palatable. Like no complaints about anything. Like sw I remember having saved Swish Swish like probably like the day it came out. Like, because I remember the single art so vividly, because I know that's T of the like
It's
receipt.
tea.
It's T, the karma T.
Yeah.
And I remember like when it came out, like absolutely loving Swish Swish. Still do. Bon Appetit, of course, heard that before. And I'm with Drew. I love the video. I think it's so funny. And I think she also looks so slay with the like long blonde hair. Like obviously before it gets cut.
I
Um,
love Blonde Katy.
I think she's kind of serving
When
with the long
her
locks.
hair, when she released Chain to the Rhythm, and it was that blonde, kind of like
Yeah, like the
longer,
60s.
that
Boop.
I love. You know that photo shoot, that like promotional photo shoot she did for Chain to the Rhythm with all the pink?
Well, of
That
course.
I think is like maybe the best she's ever looked. I love how she looks
Whoa.
in that. Don't
Whoa.
quote me on that. I don't know if I
Do
actually
you do you guys like the have you guys seen the Grammy performance of that?
have I seen it, girl? Did I watch it live?
Well, yes.
Well,
I
yes.
100%.
love.
Young performance, good performance.
Yeah.
Yeah, good performance.
Maria, I think you'd like it.
I'm sure.
Yeah.
It's
I'm
very
sure.
conceptual.
Yeah.
Tea of Bon Appetit?
No, Chain to the
No,
Rhythm.
Chained.
Oh, of the
She,
Rhythm.
I'll
Sorry.
kind of give a. So she performs it in a house on a house. It's at the Grammy,
Uh-huh.
so it's like huge budget. So it's on a
Yeah.
house that like rotates,
Yeah.
and like her dancers play like kind of objects coming through the house, and like yeah,
Okay.
it's really cool.
Love.
Her craziest performance of it was at the Brit Awards. Do we remember
Yes,
this?
yes. Well, of
With
course.
the huge, like, skeleton puppets that resembled Trump and Theresa May, the then Prime
Oh,
Minister. That
Yeah,
was cuckoo.
yeah. I mean, it's Katy.
Yeah, it is Katy.
yeah. But yeah, no, all that to say, like everything that I had heard from this beforehand, like I thought was extremely palatable, really catchy, and I don't think contained any like major revealing clue that this is like the flop and downfall of Katy Perry, you know? Like I think if you heard like most of these songs out of context with like absolutely no context, like you'd probably be none the wiser that this is when like society as a whole turned on her, to be honest. But yeah, just that's just all making my point of like this was the first listen, but like was going into it like incredibly optimistic, or at least like really wanting to be, you know? And I thought this entire album was like incredibly sonically cohesive, especially being that there were so many cooks in the kitchen, like so many producers. So I found that like really intriguing because I think this has like a very succinct sound. However, I do think that like is a little bit of its downfall, just in my opinion, because I think it gets a little bit samey at certain parts, and then it kind of makes it feel a little bit overstuffed. Even without the two bonus tracks, it feels like really long, in my opinion. And I mean, like, I obviously have a least favorite because we do release favorites on the show. But like, other than that, there wasn't really any like glaring, like, this doesn't fit clearly or anything like that. But I do think it was just like a little bit long, a little bit samey. And I feel like honestly, if people kind of like tuned out the like society hates Katy Perry voice in their brain, I feel like honestly people would like be a little bit more like tuned into this a little bit, like probably wouldn't actually hate it all that much. Like you would think with the way that people talk about it and with the impression it has that it would be like the most unlistenable music of all time. But like it's genuinely not. And it's genuinely like very clean, well-produced pop music. But again, like the campiness of Katy Perry, like it's so like beyond okay if that's like not your vibe. But, everyone has also decided like Katy Perry is the celebrity to dogpile on. And unfortunately, there's like little that we can do about that. Like, regardless of, however people on like an individual basis like want to view her. Um, so yeah, like I feel like honestly most people would like possibly enjoy a listen of it, but I just don't think people as a whole are like much willing any longer to like give a full Katy Perry project front to back a try, which is unfortunate. But yeah. I also think maybe like something that maybe contributes to the like Katy Perry hate of it all is like I feel like especially with like Teenage Dream, I feel like the lyrics in her songs aren't as like extremely campy. Like there's obviously songs where it's like, "Oh, this is silly." Like Peacock obviously comes to mind, but I feel like the songs that were like quadruple 10 billion platinum, all of that like were the songs that were like much more dreamy and like a lot more sincere, but then were maybe met with like maybe something like more silly of a visual. Or like just, it had that kind of like cartoony campiness quality that Katy Perry always has. And I feel like maybe Witness is the shift from like that campiness being like more of a visual aspect to it being like a little bit more in the lyrics. Like kind of maybe to tie in with what you're talking about, Drew, about like the lyrics, was like a big like thing of like I don't know, just like receiving negative criticism, people being like, oh, the lyrics are bad and like whatever. Like I can totally see how people would be like, oh my gosh, like, of course she says centipede in one of these songs. One of the songs has like Open Sesame as like a major lyric in the chorus, so it's said like a lot. So it's like I understand how people like would have a hard time like getting over the like inherent like campiness of the silly lyrics that are there, which then of course like do kind of bleed into her career up until this point. Like especially with like the silly lyrics that we've talked about on 143, you know? So like I don't know, that's just like a vision I'm seeing in my mind's eye of like connecting the dots of like the Katy Perry public image, you
I think
know?
that's a really astute observation.
Yeah, I agree.
I never contextualized Teenage Dream like that in my mind, but I think you are right in that the visuals are obviously very campy, the music videos are super fun, but there is like a sincerity to the songs, and while the songs are like lighthearted, they're not like silly and goofy for the most part.
Mhm.
The
Yeah.
smashes aren't. Like any of those five number one singles, I wouldn't call them goofy. And I
I
Yeah.
think
mean,
like
maybe last Friday night, I would say.
but like that's like I don't know. I think that's joyous, but I actually think those lyrics are very clever. Like
Yeah.
Yeah.
it's that kind of stuff's a fine line because I think that song is actually written very smartly. And I think it's
Yeah.
like those punchlines are really, really funny. And it's one of those things where like I think like the campiness is a really fine line. And I think I'm gonna talk about it more in my thing, but like she walks a fine line and sometimes for me it really, really works and sometimes it doesn't. And I think like last Friday night it works completely, in my
Yeah.
opinion.
Yeah.
I mean, that's last Friday smash. Let's be real on that,
Well,
okay?
yeah.
I don't
Right.
know if it was in my top three, but it probably should have been if it wasn't. I hope it was. I don't know if it was, but
TJ,
Scavenger
yeah.
hunt.
I love that song.
Well, yeah.
Well, yes.
Well,
One
yeah.
of the great music videos too.
Well, it's her best.
That music video, yeah, completely agree. It's one of like the great music videos of the century, and just like in pop music in general. I remember where I was when I saw it for the first time, and it changed my life.
And that video really is a who's who of the mid 2000s.
It is of
I
like if
mean,
you want to know
Glee,
Or
who's
excuse
Rebecca
me,
big,
no,
Black.
2010s, mid
if
2010s,
you want to know
excuse
who's
me.
big in like 2011, that is where to go.
Yeah. It's major. It's a major moment.
It is major. And like her walking down the stairs in that dress,
With the mismatched shoes.
and then like her smiling with the braces, like it's like that
Playing
is
Just
like
Dance.
her at her peak. Like that is just like everything you could want from her. Drew, would
Yeah.
you agree with that
Well, yes,
as a
yes.
fan? It's just that is excellent. And then the Kenny G, the Darren Chris, the Rebecca Black. It's just so good. You dip the last Friday night in the visual, and it's just good.
Yeah. Kathy Beth Terry.
Well,
Well,
yes.
yes.
Oh, yes.
But Maria, that was so
Amazing.
interesting. I
Yeah,
love
that
hearing
was,
it.
yeah,
Yeah,
I
that
love
was a
that.
really great point.
Thank you. Thank you.
Katy Perry's Scholar.
Literally,
Scholar.
literally.
Literally. So yeah, so like that, yeah, it was just like something I was thinking about while sitting with the project. But yeah, I mean like in my like preliminary listening, I definitely think like some of like the narrative or like deeper meaning of some of the songs is like perhaps a little bit lost on me. I mean, I think it's kind of obvious which ones are like a like a lens on society as a whole, and which ones are about like a relationship or like, any sort of like I don't know, anything like personal or anything that's like political. Like I think it's kind of like you get the context clues. But as like a non-Katy cat, like any like relating any of the lyrics to like her personal experiences or struggles is like a little bit lost on me, you know? But yeah, all in all, enjoyed my listening as like a first time listener front to back. But yeah, I feel like my biggest takeaway is just like this is the album that like everyone thought was the worst thing ever made. That's insane. That's like actually unbelievable because there are certainly things worse. There are worse things. So, like, it was just surprising. Like, again, I get if you don't like this, you don't have to like it. No one's forcing you to like it. Um, and I'm not trying to bring up an unearthed 2018 beef because it's 2026 and we're moving forward. But like, I was just like a little bit surprised. Like, this is not the worst music in the world. But alas,
Alas.
not
Alas.
my favorite KP project by any means, but like it's not like dumpster fire. Come on.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
You know who.
You know who.
Okay, Levita, let's go.
Well, I'm like actually super excited to talk about Witness. I have a lot to say, as I typically do, but I think that this is so I agree with Maria. I don't think this is my favorite overall Katy project. I think this is easily her most interesting project. I think that like this album is the one that I'm most fascinated by. I think this is the one where she is being her most ambitious, where she is trying the most things, and where she's creating something that I think is the most singular. You know, Teenage Dream is looked at as pop Bible because it is so perfectly in representative of what pop music is supposed to be. But this is such like a it's very strange in places and it's like angular and it's really interesting and intriguing and that's a quality I love about it. I love that she made something that was just very much itself and very unique. And I think that there's a lot to talk about here. I'm going to start like outward and go inward because I'm going to start with the promotion because that to me I think has to be talked about. Um, I guess my relationship with this is different because I was very much active in this album release. I was very much keeping up with it. I listened to it when it was released. So like that it was such a big moment this album campaign and the backlash that it received. I think it has to be talked about, and I think that this is an example of like what Maria was talking about, a project that is not worthy of being called the worst of all time and I think is actually very good. I think there's a lot of I think there are career best moments on here, but it got buried underneath, in my opinion, some of the worst marketing of any pop album I've ever witnessed. Wink. And I think that like it's just unfortunately an example of like a snowball. There's just like misguided decision after misguided decision after misguided decision. And like I wish that we could have a time traveler go back to like late 2016 and be like, do not do this way. There is another way. You can be saved. Because and it makes me sad because I think that like there was so much sincerity on her part, but I think that there were just miscalculations done that were so severe that like things really couldn't be salvaged. And I think when people had that kind of taste in their mouth that was maybe a bit sour, I think their minds were already made up, which is a really frustrating thing when that happens. So I like the title. I think the title's great. The title I think should stay. The first thing to go, Miss Katy Perry.
The
Why did we
cover?
have, why did we have to? Well, I'm gonna get to that in a bit. Don't worry. That will be mentioned. Um, why did we have to coin the phrase purposeful pop? Like, I really think that is the reason why her career went the way that it did. Even I think if you keep the haircut, I don't think it goes as bad. And I think there's a lot of reasons for this. So, first of all, I think it's important to go back to the context of where we were. Drew stated that this was post Trump. So, Trump was elected for the first time late 2016. This album campaign starts in the winter beginning of 2017. So, this is a very dark political climate. This is a sad national mood. this is also a time I think of a lot of prominent works kind of across different forms of media that were very politically conscious. For me, like the album example of this, like in 2015, we had To Pimp a Butterfly. And in 2016, we had Lemonade and A Seat at the Table by Solange. Movie wise, so this was released in like Chained to the Rhythm was released, I think, in February. Yeah, February 10th. In I believe the end of January is when Get Out was released. So there was this kind of just moment of very politically aware, socially conscious artworks that were trying to comment and discuss what was happening culturally. I think in theory, like that could work as a Katy project if that's what, in my opinion, the album was. I think if you're labeling an era as purposeful pop, I think that there is an expectation set of this album is going to have a lot of political themes, is going to be talking a lot about the world. And then I think when you listen to the project in full, I think the main theme, in my opinion, is like introspection and vulnerability, which I think is really beautiful. And I think that's very interesting, especially as a pivot from, the more candy coated, sunny albums that she had released previously. But that isn't politically conscious in the way that I think she was trying to kind of fit in with this like moment that was happening with both politically and culturally. And so that to me is like where the disconnect really starts, and it gets emphasized by Change of the Rhythm, which is, in my opinion, I think that's the only song that I personally label as like purposeful pop. I think that you could argue maybe a few other ones. Like I guess like Power, because Power is kind of like a feminist anthem. I don't think it's very explicit in the way that like Chained to the Rhythm is, but I could get behind that. I could maybe understand like a Witness thing, even though I feel like that's more about just like human connection. But I think releasing that and then following it up with Bon Appetit and Swish Swish was just like, again, really not.
It was not the
It was
move.
not the move. It was not the move. Because also, like, yes, those are much poppier, but they're also like not the pop that we know from Katy Perry. They're very much kind of in line with this like darker vibe of where we were at musically in the late 2010s. I mean, I think it's important to note that like pop music was not the dominant genre. Uh, Very, very much so. It was dominated by hip hop and rap and trap. And a lot of the pop music from that period kind of adopts characteristics of those genres. I mean, Reputation, which came out later this year, is a great example of that. That was the first time Taylor really, even flirted with anything remotely resembling hip hop or R&B. So Bon Appetit and Swish Swish, more poppier, and more quote unquote fun, but not the kind of pop music that we expect from Katy Perry. So then there's like more disconnect happening, and like that just like becomes a huge thing. So I think that label purposeful pop really kind of screwed the pooch. If I could be that time traveler, I would go back and I would tell her to study the Ray of Light album Rollout. I'm not comparing this. I'm not saying that's like the same type of music, same type of whatever, but that album Rollout and that campaign was based on introspection and spirituality. And I think that like a Katy Perry introspection moment would have been received with, I think, more accepting audiences by a more accepting audience than Katy Perry political moment, but then it doesn't really get political. I also think we have to talk about the haircut because that's a huge part of this album as well, which is Katy Perry's sex symbol. Katy Perry is known for being the hottest person ever. And I mean, big boobs, but like, please tell me everyone knows that reference and I'm not just
Yeah,
saying, oh, okay,
No.
yes.
good.
Oh, that's.
The Nicki
The
Minaj
Nicki,
thing.
yeah.
Oh, okay, okay.
When she's on Instagram Live and somebody comment and she goes, big boobs. It's very funny.
Some of
Oh,
the
okay.
best celebrity moments ever are them reacting to what people have commented on their Instagram lives.
Like when Tokyo Tony got mad at somebody for asking if she was going to watch She-Hulk and she blocked them.
Yeah. I mean, there's like 10 billion instances of Tokyo Tony reading a comment and then immediately
And
blocking
then
that
I
person.
love, we gotta get her on the show. I want
Oh
to
my
know what she
God.
has to say. I want like her opinion on Fiona Apple. I think she would have something really interesting to contribute.
What happens when the
But
talk isn't cheap? Do you know that one?
yes, I know that one.
Yeah, classic.
But so I think it is important to note that like this was a severe change in her public image at a time where so much else was changing as well. And so again, I think like this is another example of I think like a haircut or a hair change would have worked. And it just is hard because she's so famous for her hair. Like that black hair is just so iconic. I think it's one of the most iconic hairstyles in modern pop music. Um, but I think this is an example of like too much, too fast, like too much all at once. This on top of like the severe shift in musical direction and the change in like kind of, approaching something maybe like quote unquote more serious, more emotional. It just was, I think, too much for people to handle and they didn't know what to do with it because our idea of who this person was for the last 8 years was just so different from who they were now presenting as. So those to me are like the big faux pas of the promotional aspect of things. And I was thinking about this record a lot over the last few days, and I was trying to come up with like something that I think I could compare it to of like what I think she was trying to have happen. And actually, I think the album that I feel like she was probably aiming to kind of replicate what this album did for this artist, I would say is Anti, which is Rihanna's eighth studio album, was released the year before in 2016. And was similarly a huge step away from being, a commercial super poppy artist. Rihanna was not an albums artist. Rihanna was known as a singles artist. She would churn albums out year after year after year, and she would get, a few smashes from each one, but she was not releasing like cohesive, artistically influenced projects until Anti. Anti, there was a huge gap. I believe it was a 4 year gap between albums. And she took so much more artistic control, which Katy was already, writing songs at a, I mean, she always is writing her songs in a way that Rihanna wasn't. So that's different. But, that album was seen as a big breakthrough artistically for Rihanna. And although she hasn't released anything since, it kind of was at the time teeing her up to be like seen as a more serious artist. um, and I think that like there's a world where like Witness is that for Katy, where Witness she makes that transition the way that Rihanna did. I think that Rihanna benefited from her public image being a lot, I think, more adaptable to kind of like a quote unquote serious artist persona because Rihanna's the cool girl. Rihanna's cooler than everybody. She's a cool baddie. And I think that like Anti still has a lot of that. And I think that like that was easily transferable. I think that the, campy pinup doll is just a bit harder to translate to like vulnerable, introspective observer of the world, the way that she is on Witness. And so Rihanna definitely had a leg up there. Also, the music little genre, the Anti was much more in line with what was popular at the time. But I do think that there is a world where like Witness does serve a similar purpose for her if like changes are made promotionally. I would personally make a few tracklist changes and things got shifted a bit. The last thing I want to say before getting into the music itself, Drew alluded to earlier, Katy, what the fuck is this album cover? What is it? What is it? I think like maybe if it was a really great album cover, like people could have been convinced. But like I was just like, girl, you're like at your lowest, and this is the one that you pick. I have always had an aversion to this image. I don't like looking at it. It scares me. I find it so unsettling and unappealing. That's what I have to say. And I think it is not representative of what this album is. I don't think it justifies it. I'm not a big fan of the photo shoot in general, but I even think like the image that Drew has behind him would have been a lot better. I think that's a much better image than the eyeball thing. I don't think it works for me at all. Getting into the music itself, though, this production's great. The production is great on Witness. Maria's right. It's very clean. It's incredibly sonically cohesive. It's really interesting. There's a lot of like really metallic like synths on this record. I think like Roulette, that like opening synth line is the best example of that. It is there's like a lot of air and like space on this record, which I know Maria's not always the biggest fan of, but like I think it like really works a lot of the time. I think it's just very well produced. I think it's a very, very well produced album. I think her voice is amazing. I think this I'm doing mental math in my mind to think if I actually think this. I think this might be my this or Prism would be my vocal highlights for Miss Katy. I don't know what you would say, Drew, but I think she sounds amazing on here, and I think she's giving some really great vocal performances outside of like vocal acrobatics. I think that Miss You More and Save His Draft are like such highlights in terms of like being emotive and selling a story. I think even like Hey 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 is such a fun vocal. It like is so great to listen to. Like she sells the shit out of that bridge. Drew knows how I feel about that bridge.
Chubby little
Like
Wally.
that, the way she says it is so, it like scratches the itch in my brain so good. So that's a huge highlight for me. I think lyrically, Maria made an excellent point. I love the point that you made because it kind of
Right.
relates to what I had written down in my notes, where I think that, this album is a step towards something more serious, something heavier, something more personal, something more vulnerable. But then we also still have like one foot in like the silly. And I think that there are moments where like her kind of natural sense of humor really, really works with this like new mood. The first example that comes to mind is on Save His Draft when she says, I don't fuck with change, but lately I've been flipping a lot of coins. I think it's very clever. It like kind of makes you smile, but it also is like kind of revealing of her personally. I think that is a great example of like something that works completely in terms of silliness. I even think the hey 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 lyrics work. And that is fully silly, but I think those work. I love Marilyn Monroe on a Monster Truck. Sorry about it. I think that's a gag. I love it.
I mean,
I'm
it's camp. It's
it's
looking camp right in the
and
eye.
it's like it works. It's like not fighting against the music because the music is fun in that song. Like I think that there are songs where the music feels much more serious than what's being discussed lyrically. Like Into Me You See is an example of that. And like because that clearly is supposed to be like the emotional ballad to close it out. And like the pun of the title isn't my fave. The open sesame isn't my fave. It just feels sillier than what I think that moment was maybe trying to be. I do not like the swish swish lyrics, and I know that I'm gonna get people saying this just because I'm a Swiftie. It's not, I promise you. I say this as somebody whose Sympathy is a Knife was one of my most streamed songs last year. Girl, if Taylor deserves it, drag her. Like if you're gonna drag, like do it. But I don't like the shellfish or sheep line. Like that's an example where like that silliness, like I don't really think that quite lands the way that it's supposed to. So it's a bit hit or miss for me, but I do think that there are lyrical highlights of her entire career. Like just off the top of my head, I would say Witness, Roulette, Miss You More, Chained to the Rhythm besides one line. I don't like the Wasted Zombie line, but everything else is I think is really, really great. Save His Draft, Pendulum, like those to me are lyrical. Oh, Tsunami. I didn't say Tsunami, Tsunami. Um, so yeah, I think that this is a really interesting album to talk about. Clearly, I had a lot to say. I think it's really sad that it got met with such vitriol. Society has a way of picking a woman to hate and then stopping at nothing until she is decimated. And it's really sad when it turns on someone, that level of attention. I am also saddened by it because I'm, I'm curious at where her career could have gone if this album was met with a warmer reception. I think that like this is an artist in this moment who I think is kind of itching to experiment and kind of stretch her limits. And then I think she really reverts back on Smile. I think Smile is very, traditional pop record. And I just wonder like what kind of like musical sounds we could have gotten from Katy and like what kind of artistic evolution could have happened if this project had been just like I think received like fairly. Like you don't have to love it, but like this is not an abomination. And there's a lot of really good things happening on here and a lot of really really good songs. So it makes me sad. It makes me sad because I think that like a lot of her career post Witness has been trying, pretty much all of it has been trying to like get it back to where it was before. And I just, you know, I just wonder what it could have been. I wonder what we could have been. Um, yeah. So that's where I'm at with Witness. I think that this was definitely the Katy album I was most looking forward to talking about. So I love that you started off the year with it, Drew.
Yes. Perfect.
That's what I got.
Well, thank you guys both for such
Yes.
insightful thoughts
Well,
about
girl,
this
into her
album.
we see, so we have to be
Yeah.
insightful.
Yeah. So kind of just going into my thoughts. So I went into this album, really excited for what Miss Katy had to do next. So obviously being a huge fan of hers, I was really looking forward to something a little more campy, but I was kind of ready for like a change in theme for sure. I mean, like Teenage Dream, Prism, they both were kind of what you guys were saying, like very light, very kind of like airy too, is something I would describe her music as before that, which I love. But I was really excited to kind of see, like a darker side or just something different, which I knew she was going to do. Um, yeah, so some of the visuals for me really work. I don't love the cover. I'm not like blinded by it in a way that like some people are.
Some people. Girl, name
Like,
names.
I think I guess what I don't hate about it is I see what she was like. I see why she chose it because I think like she said, I know what I want the album cover to be. I want the album cover to be me shutting my eyes and the my mouth to be the eye because the idea of witness is her singing what she sees or like her taking what she has observed through all of her years of being famous and projecting that through her music. So I love that sentiment. I do think the execution was poor. I think the image, the hair I don't think is, looking the best. I don't like the coloring of it that much. But I don't hate the idea and concept of that being the cover. Um, so that's where kind of I stand on it. Um, I I do think there was like a perfect way to put out singles for this. Like I think the perfect thing she could have done is do Roulette as the lead single.
What the hell?
And then did Witness title track or even Chain to the Rhythm, I think could have been a second single. The problem was she had these Swish Swish and Bon Appetit songs that sound really expensive, and I know she was thinking that they catered so much toward the radio because I mean they were kind of huge radio kind of songs that they wouldn't exist in any other realm. Like she could have put these on the album and they could have been the outliers that they were. I mean, I think they're outliers obviously in theme. They're both very silly, kitschy songs. I do think they fit in the production of the album, but I think the problem was, you either put these as the singles or you let them pop out as outliers or you don't put them on. And so she obviously chose them to be singles, which completely diverted the whole concept of the album, which resulted in why we're here talking about it being a flop.
Drew, do you
Um,
think the collabs also played a part?
I mean, maybe I think she probably had them be collabs with rap features when she knew that they were going to be singles. Like I
Got
think
it.
like I don't think she said, "Oh, I have to make this the single because I got Nicki on this track." Like I think she said, "Oh, in the studio, Swish Swish is going to be the single. Let's get like Nicki on it."
Got it.
You
That makes
know.
sense. Yeah.
Um but yeah, I mean it sucks because I feel like this album was also just like a couple years before like pop, specifically Pop Girlies, stopped being super formulaic in releases too. Like, and I even like kind of what Levi was saying about Reputation. I feel like so much of that too, Taylor was having to kind of deal with the formulaic release, like specifically with like Ready for It and its like video and like doing things like that. And like, because Ready for It, as a music video and as like a pop single, I feel like wasn't as strong as how we see it now as like an album opener and as like
Mhm.
the I mean, I love that song. I think it's like a perfect album opener, but to me it doesn't like jump out as a Taylor Swift single in a way. And I think it sucks because at that time, Reputation is such an album. Like I don't see Reputation as the singles. And I think Katy like really missed that in this album. Like I think a lot of what people remember it as are these kitschy singles. No one, I think, thinks of Witness, who, digested at the time, as an album. And I think now people are seeing, especially specifically with like streaming things like that, I think people really would have given it more of a shot as an album and would have actually listened to it had there's not been a huge campaign with like so much lead up and very formulaic releases and things like that. So that's something I also really observed when I was listening to it again and when I was thinking of other pop albums that came out at the time and how I feel like that kind of formula was just like not really great specifically for this, but like very much so just for pop in general. Um, so yeah, I mean, like even like art pop would have been Gaga's, in this kind of time. I mean, the
Yeah.
singles from art pop are not at all what you come out of listening to the entire project thinking about. And I feel like that was also something that made the album kind of fumble a little bit. So I don't know. I think it's really interesting to think about now because I don't think that's something that artists really think about when they're putting out singles. At least that's how I see it. But yeah. So, and I kind of going off of what Levi said, I love the production on this. I think it sounds so amazing. But every time I do listen to it, it's hard not to get sad because I remember how much I like it and how much I liked it at the time. I mean, the melodies are catchy. I think the themes that she's presenting, specifically like her introspection themes, like specifically her outlook on like the title track, like starting this album with like if I lost it all today, would you stay? Like being a single person who has like been publicly, almost like demonized in a way. Like people hated her, and then she like writes so much about being rejected, and she got rejected before even putting this out. Like it's so sad. But yeah, I just think it was really just the wrong way to share this music. I mean, she fumbled on single choices. She fumbled on like presenting theme, um, and like people really just took it out on her. I also just think like being campy and saying something is purposeful just kind of just doesn't mesh together, especially when you're like Katy Perry, and especially when it's like 20 after 2016. Um, yeah. So that's all I wanted to say about my personal thoughts, but I'm excited to get into the Holy Trinity and me's.
Oh, thank you, Drew.
Yes, thank you,
Yes.
kitty cat.
Kitty, kitty, kitty.
Meow.
Oh, okay.
Okay, let's do the me's first.
And
Okay,
then
Marita.
Marita.
Yes, yes. So, okay, so the me's are our least favorite tracks, named
Correct.
after me, he, hoo, hoo,
Hoo hoo
hoo.
hoo.
Worst song ever.
Or song Eva. So, my me was really the only one that like stuck out to me as like, oh, this is not working for me. And there is like a very specific choice that's being made and how the vocals are produced that really did not work for me. So, it's going to be Mind Maze.
I knew that was going to be you. I had a feeling.
I was not really vibing with like the entire song having the auto-tune vocals. When I feel like Katy Perry, I mean, as we know, is a great like studio
Yeah.
vocalist. Like I would have rather have just listened to the song with like unfiltered vocals from
Yeah.
her, you know? So like for that, it kind of like made it a tough listen, really just for that song. So
Yeah.
Well, mine is to me the biggest lyrical clunker of the record, and I'm gonna go with Deja Vu. I think it doesn't the album I think gets off to a really strong start, and so I don't think it's especially like that opening three-track run. I love that three-track run. And then Deja Vu hits. And in verse two, we get two attacks. We get your words are like Chinese water torture. Yeah, they slither like a centipede. And if anyone who's listened to the 143 episode knows my thoughts about the word centipede, and I'll be consistent. If Taylor ever mentions centipede in a song, I'll drag her to the pits of hell because I just don't think I think there are words that shouldn't be in songs. The way that Maria feels about the word apartment. Is it apartment
Department.
or department? Department.
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 Mr. TTPD, it's Department.
Sorry. Well, I was thinking that you left your typewriter at my apartment. I couldn't remember which
Well, her
rhyme.
favorite song on Young the Giant
Oh, it's
being
apartment.
Apartment.
It is
Sorry.
Department.
Sorry, I'm a fool. But that centipede is just a word I don't need to hear in a pop song. And then your words are like Chinese water torture is just
Girl.
I think that's a very misguided lyric in every sense of that word. So it just like puts a taste in my mouth that I can't get out of. So Deja Vu is my me.
Okay.
I'm sorry if you
My me is also my maze.
Whoa.
And it's for the vocal production. Um, yeah.
am I crazy?
mean,
I like the vocal production of my me. I think she sound
it made a really
fun.
good tour interlude.
Mm,
It
I
was a
can hear
really
that.
good dance tour interlude, which I feel like that's probably why it made it on.
The
Um,
album.
yeah, because it was like really cool.
I know. I just like
Um,
really like that like hook. I think I don't know. I think it's cool.
I mean, yeah, I don't think it's a bad song. I just do think that the vocal production is not my favorite.
That makes sense because vocals are
It's
big
just a
for you.
little too much.
Yeah,
Yeah,
fair.
fair. I knew it was going to be Centipede.
Oh, you knew mine.
Well, of course.
That was written in the stars.
Yeah,
Girl, you know how I feel about that.
yeah. Oh, girl, I get it.
Maria, I want to know. Drew, do you want to know what Maria's top three is?
I want to witness it.
Ooh. Okay. So, my number three, is Roulette
Yeah,
Well, best
because
pop song of all time.
yeah, yeah,
it's a
yeah.
gag. And, obviously, definitely agree with what Levi just said about like the first three tracks being like smash. Like this has a really, really great album opening sequence for sure.
Great opening three-track run.
Yeah, really, really great. So my number
Two.
and we'll see how this goes and because I know it's already been mentioned on the as we've been talking about it, but it's gonna be Swish Swish because
Hey.
Obviously, like back
That
in 20,
production just like seeps into like it's so infectious.
I mean, it's great. I think it's a great song. I mean, yeah, the lyrics are silly, but it's like the sonic quality being like fun and upbeat and bubbly with the lyrics being silly, like that makes sense. Like it makes sense. It's like I think more of like an electronic dance track than you would like maybe expect from like Katy Perry. But I think otherwise, everything like makes total sense together, to be honest. And of me in 2018 having no stance on like where do I stand on this Katie v. Taylor debate, like I was just sitting in like the neutral zone of this like pop culture stan war, having like next to no idea that it was even happening, being like, this is a fun song, you know? So that's kind of where I stand on it. But yeah, I think it's a fun song. One is going to be Tsunami.
Whoa.
Oh.
This song is great. This is one of the songs that like over the years has been like just kind of like like passed over to me subtly by Drew being like this song is like it's a really good Katy Perry song. Like you definitely need to listen to it. And I just remember being like completely gagged when I heard it because I thought it's like this cool, almost like bedroom pop-ish, kind of like aquatic, electronic kind of song.
Yeah.
And I think it's really great, like all around. It is like produced really well. The lyrics are interesting and they're not like they don't lean on like the cringy, campy Katy Perry side. And again, like it's not like this entire album does by any means, but obviously it has moments. But yeah, I think the song's really great and it actually gave me vibes of like I don't know if you guys have ever heard the song Come Undone by Duran Duran
Mm-mm.
of Hungry
Mm-mm.
Like the Wolf fame.
Well, I know Duran Duran.
Yeah, I know Duran Duran. I just don't know that song, I don't think.
Yeah. No, I was just being silly. But like, honestly, I would highly because I think these two songs are like cosmically connected in a way. They're like very similar.
Oh, T,
Um,
okay.
yeah, like I just got like very similar vibes from both of them. Mainly just like sonically, but like definitely let me know what you guys think.
Well, of
Well,
course.
yes.
But yeah,
If it's a Katy lookalike, then we're gonna listen to it.
right. So yeah, that's my holy trinity.
Oh, love. Another one in the basket.
Yeah, I'm so sorry. I'm sorry I'm the hater. Um,
Oh, it's so okay.
okay. My three. This was actually really hard for me. Yours was easy, kind of, wasn't
Mine
it?
was so easy.
I, yeah, yours was easy, I think.
Yeah.
Because I know Drew's stances. This was really hard for me, and I'm not gonna lie, I changed my mind during this recording session. It's very, very difficult for me. So my number three is the title track. I love that song. I think it is such a great album opener. I think that like opening is it like a guitar like little thing that we
Yes.
hear and
It's
then like
insane.
and then going into the if I lost it all today, would you stay? Like that's a great opening line for an album. I love the chorus. I think it is like so perfectly representative of everything like this album was like trying to do. I agree completely with Drew that Roulette should have been the first single, but I also think there's a world where this is the first single and it does
Totally.
very, very well. I love this song. My two is Miss You More. I think this is like the emotional centerpiece of the record. I, you know, it has touched me the last few days as I've been listening to it. And I think it's really beautiful. Like I think there are just some first of all, the sentiment. I think there's a time when this album came out. I think I was a little like dismissive of the song because I thought that like chorus sentiment was a little simple. But now that I've lived life and I'm not, a child, that really is very, very true. And I actually think it's a kind of profound a little bit. This like
Yeah.
idea of like missing the feelings of missing somebody and missing something that you had, that's actually stronger than the feelings that you actually shared together. And I
Yeah.
love the opening line of saw your face in accident, your face is, saw your picture in accident, your face has changed. Love that line. That's like one of my favorite Katy lines ever. I love the imagery in verse two of the balloon floating away. She goes, "Did someone let go or did they lose it?" Like that's like very like interesting because like you can
That's a
understand
Madonna lyric.
it well, and you can understand what she's saying and like how it's like commenting on this relationship, but like she doesn't like she's not obvious and she doesn't draw that connection. She leaves it up to the listener to understand. And then like I love the hook of the I wonder what we could. And then my last thing is I love we were a match but not a fit. I love that lyric. Love that lyric. So that's my number two, but my number one has always been the song. Is one of the greatest. Is one of the great pop songs in my opinion. And why I don't know why this is not one of her signature hits. And it's Roulette. Roulette is just it is it's just nonstop smashery. Every single thing about it is smash. The chorus is so crazy. The chorus is so crazy. The pre-chorus is so crazy. The verses, like some people's choruses are not as catchy as that verses. And that synth line. Oh,
It also does the classic Katy Perry of like, oh, so you think we had hit the top of this song. And then at the end of the bridge when she like builds it up again to do that
yes.
chorus where she like oh, it's
And like,
so
I'm
good.
sorry, the lyric, "My love's a bullet with your name written on it."
Let's load it and spin it.
That is so good. Like, that's good. It's just good. And like
It's just good.
the metaphor of roulette is like
It's
that's one of
so
those things
good.
that's like the best kind of pop songs to me are like when there's when they feel so right that they feel like they're so obvious, but like they haven't existed yet. Like Espresso by
Yes.
Sabrina is a great example of that. And like roulette to me is that. It's like, how has nobody like used this as a metaphor before in a pop song? Like this is so obvious, but it's so because it's just perfect. Perfect song. Perfect, perfect, perfect song. This like should have been like a career defining smash hit for her.
Totally.
Like I don't get why this was not number one for 10 weeks.
Purposeful pop.
Like it's just crazy to me. The only Katy song that I think should have smashed harder is Never Really Over,
Well, yes.
which we all know how I feel about that.
It's honestly kind of like a precursor to Never Really Over.
Yeah, in terms of her releasing smash gold mines and then paying them dust.
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay, but that's my
Oh,
top three.
perfect. That's a great top three.
Was it like
Um,
what you thought it was going to be?
Kind of. I didn't think Witness title track. I thought Save His Draft would be in our top three for
That
some reason.
was my. And
Okay.
I made a last minute change.
Okay. Well, we love you, Save His Draft, because you're not in my top three either.
We do love you, Save His Draft.
We
But
love staring at a fork in the fucking road.
I like just I couldn't ignore that. I couldn't ignore Witness. I just
No.
I was feeling wrong to me. And like Save Us Draft and like Miss You More, like both kind of like the ballad moments. And I was like, I already have one of them. Like I feel like I need to
Yeah.
give Witness her flowers.
Yeah. Okay, perfect. Well, my three is Roulette.
Period.
I
Oh my
fucking
God.
love Roulette.
Yeah.
Go off.
Gag it.
My number two is Witness title track.
Because Drew,
I
are
think
we
it's
just all looking for connection?
like, are you kidding? Like, are you kidding?
Like Drew, do you need
Can
a
I get a
witness to get you
witness?
through this?
Witness.
To get you through it? Yeah. The concept
It's
of just
also
looking
like
for
one of
connection.
like by the grace of God exists. Like she wanted to die, but somehow Witness makes me sadder to listen to.
Because if you lost it all, sometimes I know Drew's sad when he.
But
texts
she did
me.
lose it all
I know.
today.
I know you're sad whenever you text me out of the blue. If I lost it all today, would you stay? Because you do that sometimes, and I'm like, oh God.
Like,
Things aren't
come
well.
on.
Yeah,
Okay.
no, I know.
And then my number one, gag it. It's Tsunami.
Maria, did you not know that was his number one?
I kind of knew it would be, but like Drew and I, with the exception of our song number twos, we have identical me's and Holy Trinities
Yeah, that's
You
crazy.
guys are on the same wavelength.
on a Katy Perry album. Can you believe?
Whoa! No,
Wow.
Tsunami is like all time Katy for me.
Is
It's
it
so
your favorite?
different.
Is it your fave Katy song?
No. No, 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 no.
But it's like, would it be like top five?
It'd probably be top five, yeah. I
Oh.
love it. I think it's so good. And I will never forget. So I did go to the tour. And It was the first concert I ever went to by myself. I would have been 18, I think, or 17. Um, and it was like the best seat maybe I've ever had at like a concert. I was like the second row right off of the catwalk of the stage, so I was so close. And she literally, I did not know the set list very well, but she walked up to the second stage and she like looked right at me and took her skirt off and said, "Now who am I gonna sing this song to?" And then it was Tsunami. So forever we'll love Tsunami.
That's true.
Don't
Yeah.
know if she was singing it to me or not,
She was. She told me.
but it eats.
Yeah.
The vocals are so good. It's so fucking catchy.
And it's
I
so
loved it ever
interesting
since.
from her. Like it's so different from anything else she's ever done.
Yeah. That bridge I love, it's so good. That melody's insane.
I thought
I
you were
could
doing
listen to
Once Upon a Time
Tsunami
in
every day.
You were doing Once Upon a Time in Hollywood for a second there.
But yeah, love Tsunami.
Okay,
Okay, are
beautiful.
we time to pull out the utensils for Miss Witness?
Yes. Our ratings.
I think we'll be
10.
higher than Pitchfork.
I think this as well.
I think it has a chance here than Pitchfork.
I'm gonna go in at a 9.5.
9.5. This is your second highest Katy score.
Yep. We
Because you
still got Prism, one of the boys.
and you gave
Huge.
Teenage Dream a 10.
Well, of course.
And then you gave 143 I believe a 7.
You don't have to say.
Okay.
We know what happened to her.
So I'm just a historian. Sorry, I'm just
No,
trying-
no. I love a historian moment, but
we don't need to reference her.
we're referencing one flop now.
We don't need to pile on.
Yeah, no.
Drew redacted all of our 143 scores.
Yeah, no.
He's gonna
Yeah,
find a
we're
way to
not
take
ever
it off
talking about that again.
platforms.
Yeah,
Okay. Maria Spoon.
Yes. Well, I'm gonna go in at a healthy average 7. Because I do think this is a great pop record. It's not like Bible for me, which is why I think I can't push it past like like a 7.5, like anywhere past that. But obviously it has technical merit and it's a great listen. So I just wanted to put it somewhere where it was like a hearty score.
yeah,
I feel like anything maybe under like 7 would have been like a little bit unfair.
totally.
I agree with you. I
Yeah,
agree. I feel similarly to Maria. I have really been wrestling with what to score it. I feel like my heart is telling me to do a 7.5. I think that is like representative of like there being a lot of good things on this. This 5 points, 0.5 points higher than Chromatica for me. Sorry, Maria, to catch a stray. But
Why am I in
whoa, I was.
No,
you're like, it's that 50 Cent video of, what'd you say fuck me for? But I think that like there's things that are imperfect about this album for me that like I can't justify getting to like the nines or
It's
the eight
hard.
range. But then there's also like so many great qualities that I like was toying with like giving it a 7. I was like, that feels wrong for like how I feel about it. So I think 7.5 to me feels accurate and fair for pretty much everything I outlined in
Totally.
the thing. So 7.5, I'm locking it in. Okay. And so that comes out as a very healthy, beautiful, lovely 8 average score.
Oh, perfect.
That's great. Because she
beauty.
ate.
She did eat with her
That's
eye.
that's that on that, ho.
Well, I love that we finally talked about Witness on the
I know, I'm
pod.
so happy.
Yes.
And I feel like it turned out good.
Well,
Yes, I agree. I think we are all witnessing the witness. I witness her.
we have witnessed.
We have.
Whoa.
We have.
We have.
And we have not lost it all today, even though Katie did.
But she has you.
Maybe our witness episode will be us projecting into the world that KP7. Like maybe KP7 is gonna drop soon.
Whoa.
Well, we will be the first to let the listeners know.
Well, of course.
Of
Well,
course.
have the Band-Aids repaired the broken heart yet?
Uh,
Well, of course.
Drew, that when I was listening to our playlist the other day of the end of your review, that song was gagging the fuck out of me.
It's such a gag.
It is like one of her catchiest melodies. I like Sincerely
Well,
Believe
she's
That.
also like was Haley Williams vocal coaching her?
I don't know. I don't
Because
know.
she's given Haley Williams on that
I don't know
track.
if she was like playing with the Ouija board and getting Whitney up in there. I don't know what was happening, but she sounds so good.
So good.
She sounds great.
That
And
production's great too.
I just think that chorus is like so catchy. And I love the part in the video with the
The
daisy.
Daisy.
It's so sweet. Like that to me is an example of like the campiness and the sincerity really working in tandem.
Wow.
So,
Well, of course.
Maria, what flop are we flopping over to next week?
Yes. Well, we are talking about someone that we've never talked about before, which is
Whoa.
really exciting. And this album is a flop album that just like majorly went under the radar. It does have like a couple standouts or like some things that might be like a little bit more like widely recognizable. Um, but I think for this artist having like major smash hits in the past, this was just like so seldom discussed or talked about like at all. And like critically just like did not have any real sort of like notable performance. So that's what made us kind of like want to land on that for like the flop album that I would talk about. But I remember listening to this when it came out and really liking it, and then I just kind of like drifted away from it. And I literally like am so excited to talk about it next week. But we're going to be talking about the album Dirt Femme from Swedish singer-songwriter Tove Lo. And it's gonna be so fun. Tove Lo of Stay High and Talking Body fame. Everyone is familiar with her for the most part. But I
Ew,
cannot be
why
so
did you
excited to talk
say
about
it
Dirt
like
Femme.
that? Oh my God.
Because that's how you say it.
Tovolo.
Tove Lo.
Oh my God. You can't do this.
We have to learn how to say it for next week.
I'm gonna pee in my pants. Oh my God. That was so funny.
Thank you. But yes,
No.
everyone
Oh my God.
everyone listen to Dirt Femme between now and next week, and I have no doubts that you'll be gagging.
Oh, well, you'll be gagging.
I mean, there's Levi scripture on Dirt Fat.
Yeah.
So,
And I mean, it all connects to Witness because Tovolo was an opener on the Witness tour.
There you have
we
it.
got to figure out
there
a
you have
way to connect my flop album back to Witness. I haven't figured that out yet, but
We'll get there.
maybe we'll find.
There's
Actually, I
there's
just
gonna be
thought of
something.
one. I just thought of one. I'll
Okay.
tell you guys after. Okay. So we did it,
Yay.
Drew.
Oh, so relieved
Yay.
for another Katy album on.
What?
Yes.
I'm just so happy we got to talk about Katy.
Oh,
I
yes.
missed her.
Sorry, my brain stopped working for a second, and I just
Yeah.
didn't understand anything.
Yeah,
Okay.
that happens.
It does. To
Okay.
me also.
Hey. I'm gonna go eat dinner. Bon appetit.
Well, I'm gonna go
Well-
see if I can get a witness.
I have an email that I was writing that I have to go save as draft.
Whoa.
All right. Bye, Shanti.
Bye.
Bye.